The Accord Citadel hung like a steel moon above the galactic core, massive, ancient, and built long before humans learned to carve fire into weaponry. Its windows glowed with council blue light, a cold reminder that no species entered those halls as equals. You entered to kneel, or you entered to disappear. Commander Rhea Salas walked the long glass corridor toward the Sovereign Chamber, boots silent on polished obsidian. Beyond the curved windows, stars churned like molten gold. The space was beautiful, but the air carried the thick taste of condescension, dozens of alien delegates staring openly as she passed. She kept her stride steady, shoulders squared, jaw relaxed. Her uniform was midnight black with a single silver crest on her chest, the symbol of Earth's unified defense fleet. Opposing her, the Sovereign Guards formed a human-sized wall of chitin and plated armor. Their mandibles clicked in amusement. "Small," one whispered to another in the krill tongue. "Fragile prey." Rhea didn't flinch. Predators always mistook silence for weakness. Two towering doors, 20 meters tall, opened. The Sovereign Chamber unfolded before her, a vast amphitheater of shifting platforms, suspended in gravity-null fields. Delegates floated like silent witnesses around a central dais. Every council member had a podium carved from their homeworld's signature material, lava rock, bone, crystal. But at the center, raised far above the others, sat the throne of the High Sovereign. Vorkal. He reminded Rhea of a statue carved from cruelty, hulking, scaled, crowned with living bone. His voice rumbled through the chamber like an avalanche. "Commander Rhea Salas of Earth." His eyes narrowed, bright orange slits. "You arrive without escort, without offering, without tribute." Rhea stepped onto the central platform, letting the gravity grip her boots. "Earth sends respect to the Council of Sovereigns." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Respect wasn't currency here. Submission was. Vorkal lifted a shard of obsidian. It projected a hollow map of Earth. Blue oceans, green continents, bright cities. He circled one claw around the hologram. "Your world produces fertile labor," he declared. "We require 1 billion of your population for integration." "Mind worlds need bodies." Rhea's pulse tightened, though her face remained unreadable. 1 billion? She repeated. The number hung in the air like a sentence. A representative from the Kashk Dominion leaned forward. "Tribute prevents war. You are fortunate. We only demanded bodies, not sovereignty," a serpentine diplomat hissed in agreement. "Consider it an elevation. Slaves of the Dominion often live 30 cycles." Rhea had no words for that kind of logic. Instead, she scanned the delegations. Some smirked. Others avoided eye contact. Only 2 species showed something other than arrogance. Fear. Vorkal leaned back on his throne, massive arms folding. "Your species is young, violent, unrefined," his voice echoed. "But servitude will polish your rough edges." She met his gaze without blinking. "Earth is not negotiating the value of its people." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices. "Arrogance. Humans are ignorant savages. They still age and die like prey." Vorkal raised one hand, silencing the room with terrifying efficiency. "I was alive before your species discovered agriculture," he said. "I have crushed empires that believed themselves unique. You are not the first to refuse tribute, human. But you will be the last." Rhea spoke evenly. "We came for peace." He leaned forward, breath steaming in the chilled air. "Then kneel. Speak the submission rite. Acknowledge the dominion." Rhea inhaled slowly. "Earth kneels to no throne." Gasps, shouts, hissing. Vorkal rose to his full height, towering over her. "You misunderstand. This is not a choice. Remaining defiant will cost lives." Rhea folded her hands behind her back. "It already cost lives." Vorkal's eyes flickered. "Explain." She did not look away. "We intercepted 3 Dominion ships near Proxima. They were harvesting villages from an independent world." Her voice remained calm, clinical. "We freed the captives." The chamber fell deathly silent. Vorkal's voice thundered, "You attacked Dominion property?" Rhea corrected him with terrifying softness. "People, not property." A dozen species snapped in outrage. Delegates shouted over one another, threats echoing off the walls. Vorkal slammed a clawed fist on his armrest. Enough! Silence dropped like a blade. You speak as though you are warriors, he said, voice dripping disdain. But humanity's history is chaos. You destroy yourselves with war, with famine, with disease. He leaned close, massive shadow swallowing the platform. What makes you believe you can oppose the Dominion? Rhea stepped forward, closing the distance between them by a single, controlled stride. Because we survived it, she said. For the first time, the chamber quieted, not from fear, but from curiosity. We survived extinction-level wars, she continued. We rebuilt after world-ending plagues. We endured centuries where our greatest enemy was ourselves. Her voice steadied. And still, we are here. Delegates shifted, unsettled. Vorkal scoffed. You mistake desperation for strength. No, she said. I recognize something you don't expect. She tapped the silver crest on her chest. It pulsed once, an encrypted signal, transmitted across folded space. Protocol Aegis, standby. Vorkal didn't catch the meaning. He was too busy smiling. You are alone, Commander. There is no fleet behind you, no army, no power. Rhea looked him dead in the eye. You're wrong, he frowned. Explain. She didn't. Her only response was a slow inhale, controlled, measured, cold, because explaining would be mercy. Vorkal turned to the assembly. Human Commander, hear your mandate. 1 billion bodies, delivered within 6 rotations. And if Earth refuses? She asked quietly. Vorkal grinned, exposing rows of serrated fangs. Then we take 3 billion. The chamber froze. Delegates held still, waiting for the human envoy to break. Rhea didn't blink. You mistake silence, she said. For fear? Vorkal tilted his head, amused. You think your species matters? Rhea leaned in, close enough to see her reflection in the monster's pupils. We don't think we matter, she whispered. We know we do, he laughed, low, cruel, confident. You will kneel. Rhea's voice sliced through the chamber. No, she stepped back, raised her wrist, and pressed a command. A hologram burst into the air, Earth's fleet, not passive. Not waiting, already inside Dominion space, already behind Vorkal's borders. Every delegate went silent. Vorkal stared at the projection, thousands of stealth warships emerging from void space. Synchronized like a single blade, Rhea met his gaze. Check your outer defense grid. A sovereign aide ran to a control node, frantically tapping commands. His crest paled. High Sovereign, his voice cracked. Earth ships are inside Krill territory. We didn't detect their approach. Rhea gave one final statement. We did not come to pay tribute. Her voice was ice and intent. We came to end the practice, Vorkal's expression finally shifted. Not to anger, but to something worse, fear. Sovereign alarms erupted in a shrill chorus, the chamber lights shifting from deep blue to blood red. Hollow symbols streamed across the air in jagged patterns. Rhea stood perfectly still on the central platform while a maelstrom of panic swirled around her. Council delegates shouted in disbelief. Impossible! How did humans penetrate Krill space? Their ships are primitive. Vorkal's control node flickered with incoming data, fragmented, chaotic. The aide's voice quivered as he read telemetry aloud. Unknown vessels performing stratagem warp. They bypassed 3 relay checkpoints without triggering alarms. Vorkal rounded on Rhea, voice thunderous. What have you done? Rhea met his ferocity with steady calm. You assumed we came to negotiate. She tapped her wrist again. A direct connection formed between the Citadel and Earth's flagship. The hologram sharpened into a vivid image. The bridge of the Eidolon, Earth's stealth dreadnought. Admiral Marcus Vance stood at command. Tall, sharp eyes, posture unshakable. Behind him, the bridge crew worked with silent precision. Commander Salas, your signal is clear, Rhea nodded. Admiral, protocol confirmation? Marcus didn't blink. Ghost protocol is active. Vorkal slammed a claw into the armrest. Ghost what? Marcus folded his hands behind his back. Our fleet removed itself from every galactic registry. We erased our warp signatures. We were never here until we were. Council representatives shifted uneasily. Someone whispered, "They vanished from the grid. They vanished." Vorkal stepped closer to the hologram, fangs glinting. "Reveal your fleet strength," Marcus smiled, a thin, unforgiving expression. "No," a murmur rippled through the chamber. "No one refused a sovereign directive," Marcus continued, voice steady. "You don't get to demand numbers. You lost that right when you demanded our people." Vorkal's rage simmered. "You risk extermination of your species," Rhea finally interjected. "We risked extermination the moment we entered these halls." The hologram shifted, presenting tactical feeds. Dominion defense networks flickered with interference. Static washed across their screens like a spreading fog. Marcus narrated, "We're jamming their command relays. In 60 seconds, Krill's outer grid goes dark." One delegate rose from his platform, trembling. "You brought war into the council." Rhea corrected him. "We brought choice." Vorkal pointed a claw at her. "My armada dwarfs your fledgling fleet. One signal, and your home burns. Try!" Rhea's voice was low, unblinking. Admiral Marcus input commands behind her. "Target lock acquired on Dominion Command Nexus." Vorkal froze. His own tactical holos updated. Coordinates highlighted, KRIL Prime, Capital Fortress, human ships positioned like a loaded spring. Vorkal snarled. "You dare? You would bombard a sovereign capital?" Rhea looked directly into his eyes. "We won't be the first empire to scorch a homeworld, but we will be the last to do it for chains." Then, Marcus added the final blow. "And you overestimated the value of numbers. We don't need more ships than you." The lights dimmed across the galactic projection. One at a time, Dominion communications blinked offline. "We only need to be smarter." Vorkal spun toward his aides. "Restore comms. Activate the armada!" A frantic chorus responded, "Not responding! Warp relays frozen! No access to the command grid." Marcus leaned slightly toward the holoprojector. "You built your network on centralized hierarchy. Linear command flow. Very efficient." Rhea continued the sentence smoothly, "which means predictable." The chamber atmosphere changed, not from noise, but from realization. Delegates understood the danger. For the first time since the council's forming, someone had disrupted the hierarchy. Then a new voice cut through. Thin, reliant, hopeful. "Human. Envoy." The speaker was frail, barely 5 feet tall, skin pale blue and translucent. His platform flickered. He lacked resources to maintain stable power. His species, Ryloth, had provided tribute to the Dominion for generations. Workers, miners, bodies. Rhea softened her tone. "Yes? Did you truly infiltrate their network?" Rhea didn't hesitate. "We're inside their system core." The Ryloth delegate trembled. "Your people could have hidden. Instead, you stand here." Rhea's reply held steel. "We don't hide when someone threatens our families." The chamber quieted. Delegates watched her, not with disdain, but calculation. Rhea saw the shift. The Dominion's fear-based control had a crack. Vorkal saw it too. "Do not look to the humans!" he roared. "They are liars. Predators disguised as victims." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Funny, that's what every tyrant says right before losing." Vorkal slammed both fists into his platform, the sound of violent echo. "I did not summon you to negotiate. You didn't summon me at all," Rhea interrupted. She turned slightly, as if leaving the conversation unfinished. "I volunteered." That sentence landed heavier than any weapon. Vorkal lunged off his throne, landing on the central platform with a deep metallic crack. The platform shuddered beneath his weight. He towered over her, bone armor, war scars, towering mass. "You think courage will shield you?" "No." Rhea's voice was quiet, but there was no softness. "We know preparation will." Vorkal's claws scraped the floor. "You came alone, without soldiers, without guards." She held her ground. "Because I did not come to fight." A beat, quiet, breath. "I came to give you an opportunity to avoid dying for pride." The sovereign growled, a deep reverberation. "You are surrounded, alone, outmatched, outnumbered." Rhea raised her wrist slightly. A subtle motion. "You keep counting bodies," she said, "instead of consequences." The Admiral's voice echoed through the chamber. Dominion war grid offline. Human fleet positioned for strategic strike. One quiet beep signaled a complete tactical takeover. Vorkal froze. Impossible. Rhea stepped forward. You wanted tribute. She leaned close. Just near enough to let him feel the heat of her. Resolve. All we ever wanted was respect. Vorkal roared and swung a massive claw toward her, but stopped, mid-arc when a vibration shook the chamber. Floor, blue-white lines lit up along the Citadel walls. Every emergency barrier activating. The Citadel's automated system spoke in an emotionless tone. Critical alert. External power override detected. System security compromised. Rhea didn't flinch. We have your station. Delegates panicked. Platforms spun. Voices pleaded. Release control! They could depressurize the Citadel. We're trapped! Rhea lifted her chin. We don't want prisoners. We want change. Vorkal stood frozen, not out of fear but disbelief. His power, his station, his empire, all of it, reduced to silence by a species he had dismissed. Marcus's voice returned through the hollow feed. Admiral Vance to Commander Solace. Yes? Final confirmation. Are we at war? Rhea's eyes never left Vorkal. We aren't. She paused. He is. Vorkal trembled with restrained fury. This is madness. No, Rhea said, voice steady. This is what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. She keyed one final command into her wrist unit. A message transmitted to every slave world under the Dominion banner. Earth doesn't kneel. Neither should you. The chamber erupted, not with violence, but with possibility. Species who never looked up lifted their heads. The Citadel trembled. Alarms pulsed with a steady mechanical heartbeat. Through the windows, the galactic core cast threads of gold across Rhea Solace's face, outlining her expression in fierce focus. The negotiation hall, once a monument to dominance, now felt like a pressure chamber. Every diplomat stood on edge. Vorkal stood at the center platform, rage radiating off him like heat. Release control of this station, he growled, voice gravel and teeth. Rhea did not respond immediately. She walked a slow line across the platform, and the Sovereign tracked her movement like a predator anticipating the moment of attack. Look around you, Rhea said. Your power was built on obedience. Today, obedience ended. Vorkal bared his teeth. Because humans think defiance is strength? No, she answered. Because someone had to give them permission to stop being afraid. Behind her, the projection updated. Dominion War fleets jumped into real space around their capital, perfectly positioned, facing Earth's cloaked armada. The Eidolon's tactical officer announced across the hollow channel, Admiral, Dominion ships charging main cannons. Admiral Marcus Vance kept his tone level. Earth fleet, evasive formation Delta. Thousands of human vessels shifted formation in unison. This was no accidental war, it was strategy. Vorkal lunged toward Rhea. She sidestepped, barely, and slammed her palm into the base of his wrist, redirecting his momentum. He skidded, claws scraping metal. I don't need to beat you in strength, she said quietly, just in choices. The Citadel's interior lights flickered, blue, then red. The main AI's monotone echoed overhead. Sovereign authorization overridden. Vorkal's head snapped toward the ceiling. How? This station was forged before your species evolved upright posture. Rhea reached into a pocket, removed a data crystal, and held it up between two fingers. This station was built by a species you slaughtered for refusing tribute. One survivor passed us their architectural key. Delegates froze. Vorkal's voice turned to a hiss. You ally with vermin? No, she said. We ally with anyone who deserves to choose their own future. Then, through the projection, a new face appeared. The Ryloth delegate. He no longer trembled. He stood tall. Broadcast to all enslaved systems is live. Your message spreads. On thousands of worlds, screens lit up. Do not kneel, the galaxy watched. Vorkal roared and charged. Rhea didn't retreat. He swung a claw meant to tear through bone. Rhea ducked and drove her elbow into his solar plexus, pushing him backward 2 steps. It wasn't enough to injure him, but it disrupted his balance. Still fragile, Vorkal sneered. Still faster, she replied. She spotted the interface tower nearby, the control core housing the Citadel's broadcast beacon. If she got to it, she could amplify the rebellion message. Vorkal noticed her focus. Do you think one transmission can fracture an empire? It already has. A communication ping cut through the tension. Commander Solace, Marcus said. Dominion flagship powering antimatter lance. Rhea assessed the distance. If Vorkal ordered the shot, Earth's fleet might survive, but millions on Krell Prime would die. Marcus, she answered, stay defensive. No strike until I confirm. Understood, Vorkal snarled, hearing every word. You hesitate to fire. That will cost you everything. Rhea faced him again. No, it means we don't kill civilians to prove a point. The words were simple. They hit harder than any blow. Vorkal responded by swinging both arms in a brutal arc. Rhea dodged one, but the second caught her across the ribs. Air fled her lungs. She stumbled to one knee. Pain radiated across her side, but her eyes stayed sharp. You bleed, Vorkal said. I can bleed and still win. He seized her by the throat, lifting her off the floor with terrifying ease. Where is your courage now, little human? Rhea clawed at his grip, not in panic, but to redirect leverage. Her mind stayed focused, steady. Her feet braced on his chest. She used momentum, pushing off and twisting. They crashed together onto the platform, rolling. Rhea scrambled to the control tower. Vorkal recovered instantly. Metal groaned as he grabbed her ankle and yanked her backward. She hit the floor hard. You are nothing, he hissed into her ear. No species has ever defied the sovereigns and survived. Rhea spat blood onto the floor. Then we'll be the first. Behind her, the Citadel's viewport screens filled with chaos. Dominion ships firing blindly, Earth's vessels weaving around blasts like ghosts. Marcus's voice cut in, Commander, we're losing defensive window. Rhea wasn't listening anymore. Her gaze locked on the control tower. Vorkal moved to block her path. Claws extended to finish the job. Rhea surged forward, not to attack, but to reach the beacon. She slammed her hand against the interface. Her wrist crest injected her command key directly into the system. The beacon activated. A pulse of blue light erupted outward, visible through space, across planets. Stations, mines, slave pits, sentience stopped working. Every screen showed Rhea Solace. You are not alone. Earth stands with you. Stand up, silence, then, a whisper across systems. We refuse, another. We refuse. And then, the breaking point. On an industrial world, workers dropped mining tools and stormed guard towers. On a water world, enslaved cultures pushed soldiers into the sea. On a moon colony, a scientist smashed the Dominion seal on their lab door. A single spark turned into wildfire. Vorkal watched his empire collapse in real time. You broke the galaxy. No, Rhea said. You broke it long ago. We just reminded them they deserved better. Vorkal charged one last time, driven by pure desperation. Rhea didn't move. She just raised her wrist. Admiral, Marcus answered instantly. Yes, Commander? Disable his flagship's weapons, Marcus issued a final order. Cut lance control. Earth's ships fired, not at people, but at the Dominion's weapon grid. Explosions rippled across the Krill flagship. The antimatter lance powered down. Vorkal slowed. For the first time, he looked small. You didn't kill them, he whispered. You could have, and you didn't, Rhea. Met his eyes. We don't fight for domination. She leaned close. We fight for freedom. She didn't hit him. She didn't restrain him. She pressed a single command on her wrist. The Citadel broadcasted something. No tyrant could survive. Vorkal surrendering. The system AI translated his silent stillness as authorization acceptance. Dominion leadership authority suspended. The chamber erupted, not with violence, but with liberation. The Ryloth delegate bowed to Rhea. You did what no empire has done. No, she corrected softly. They did. We just stopped standing in the way. From the hollow feed, Marcus breathed out. Commander Solace, The Dominion fleet is standing down. Rhea exhaled for the first time in hours. The Citadel windows filled with a sight no one expected. Ships lowering weapons. Flags of rebellion replacing banners of tribute. Rhea spoke, not to Vorkal, not to Marcus, but to the galaxy. Humanity didn't bring tribute. A pause. We brought freedom.